morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. Your soul is welcome here. You are in the right place at the right time. Isn't that right, Ann?
That's right, just where you're meant to be, whether you're live streaming or here in person. We're going to continue talking about unity in world religions. Let's do this. We're all welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. As I mentioned, unity in world religions today is Judaism. And your soul is welcome here. Yes, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Your soul, your soul, your soul is welcome. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
Shalom, SLC. This is going to be a very special Sunday. Not only are we going to be exploring Judaism, we have new members coming in. When you hear the music, it won't just be Walter dancing in the aisles today. Wow! But after the service, we are going to be celebrating Lynn Orion's 90th birthday in the hub. Yeah! And also, when you see Dave and Linda, give them a hug. It's their 57th wedding anniversary. So we have a lot going on. And good morning, Patty.
Good morning, Reverend.
They're letting us do this again.
I know it. And we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is sacred, and all that is holy, and in the warm and loving energy of our community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people, worshiping in temples, churches, mosques, and stone circles, because we know there is no space that God is not. If this is your first time joining us, either online or in person, we especially welcome you, because we know that no one is here by accident. We are all here by
Divine appointment.
And we really appreciate it if you silence all electronic devices like your cell phone, and please, no flash photography during the service.
And today's daily word is connection, and the affirmation is, I share a connection to all living things. I share a connection with the human family, the world's creatures, and the universe itself. I am reminded of the words of the astronomer Carl Sagan, who wrote, quote, "The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself," end of quote. I affirm this cosmic connection and more. I feel I am a part of everything and connected with everyone through the indwelling presence that unites us in God. When the world feels lonely and I'm struggling to find my place in it, I remember this cosmic connection, that despite our surface differences, we have much in common. I value my connection with others and seek to make new ones. I treasure these relationships and celebrate our oneness in God. And as John Lennon sang, "You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one." Today's daily word is connection. Let's go into prayer moment. Dear Spirit, thank you for our many, many blessings. Thank you for the opportunities that we have to love, to be of service, and to remember. To remember those great spiritual truths. And that there really is a North Star, a golden thread guiding us. And that divine spirit is within us all. Thank you for SLC, this incredible spiritual community with a powerful message at this time, not just for Sacramento, but for the world beyond. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen. And we also say our mission statement because, quite frankly, it does remind us of who we have come here to be. Let's say it together. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world as we love, serve, and remember. And we also say those 5 unity principles because, quite frankly, even if we have a black belt in Buddha's 4 Noble Truths, we are going to hit those potholes in life. And these unity principles, I have seen it time again in my life, can get us out of those holes and truly to be overcomers. So let's say them together. God is absolute good everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect to God. And we must take action. And you know what? There is something going on at this community every single day, both online and in person, which can truly help you on your spiritual walk. Patty, what are some of those things which are happening?
Well, on Wednesday nights at 5:30 every week, we have a prayer circle for a half hour with a chaplain. One of our chaplains is there leading that, and you can come and pray silently or out loud, whatever works for you. And then at 6 o'clock this week, we have the birthday bash because it will be July 1st. So anybody with July birthdays, come and celebrate. And you don't have to have a birthday to come enjoy the meal and the friendship. And then at 7 o'clock from 7 to 9 is the second to last class for those who have already signed up for Ken Daigle's Unapologetic Manifestation class. So that's Wednesday.
Paula has a very important announcement for us.
I do. Well, I'd like to let you all know, first of all, good morning.
Good morning.
And we have so many beautiful, exciting things that are manifesting for this Unity and World Religion series, and particularly with special music guests that have come up for the month of July. So we updated the flyer. So if you're a digital kind of person, then all you have to do is go online. If you took one of the hard copies, there's an updated one if you'd like to get one in the hub. So that is for that. And also on that flyer was the Karen Drucker Kirtan concert that we were very much looking forward to. You hear me talking in the past tense? It's not past tense, but it had to be rescheduled because Karen, she had a little misstep on her power walk this week, and the result was a couple broken fingers. So she's in a cast. She said 6 weeks. And she said, we can reschedule for August. And I was like, having the experience that I've had lately, it's almost 3 years for me now. I told her, honey, you're going to need some rehab. So we rescheduled it for Friday, November 27th, the day after Thanksgiving. If you already bought a ticket, that ticket just holds over. And if that's a date that you cannot attend, then you can see the folks in the hub and figure out a refund or whatever you need to do. And there's about 2/3 of the tickets are already sold, and we will be selling them from here on out until that time. So I hope you will get a ticket, because we do plan on having an absolutely wonderful, sacred, beautiful time together when it happens. So we'll see you then. Thanks.
Thank you, Paula. Another wonderful thing which will happen, and we're not just doing Sunday talks, we're going on field trips like this afternoon at 3. We'll be at that conservative Jewish synagogue. Next Sunday, on July 5th at 1:30, Yogesh Sharda, who's from the Brahma Kumaris, Sister Hansa, is going to be coming here at 1:30 to have a series in the afternoon, which I think you won't want to miss. He is an expert not just in meditation, but also on the latest developments in neuroscience. And the connection of the two, I think, is really, really important. It will be in person and online, so please come. There also will be a lunch next week before. We don't want you to come starving, so there will be a lunch before that. So come and meet the yogi next week, Sunday, July 5th.
And beginning today, out in the courtyard, Marianne Mancina and Kathy Donna will be out there at a table. It's a call for Faith in Action artists. So they have a flyer that tells everything about it, and then an application that you can fill out, and you have until July 26th to do that. So go see Marianne Mancina or Kathy Donna outside in the courtyard today.
And Reverend Christine is starting a new class. Could you tell us about it?
Sure thing. Good morning, everybody. If you're ready to build upon your prayer and meditation practice, I'd like to invite you to register and join me for a highly experiential workshop that I'll be facilitating for 6 weeks, starting July 15th and through August, on Wednesday afternoons from 3:30 to 5. And we'll be using the wisdom and science from Lynn McTaggart's book, The Power of 8. Harnessing miraculous energies of small group to heal others, your life, and the world. That's all. All right. There is no need to buy or read the book unless, of course, you'd like to, because I'll be summarizing the key teachings from the book, and then I'll ground us with deepening meditations, which will help us focus our intentions for constructive possibilities and outcomes. And what you'll experience in that is our 8, at least, takeaways. 1, that intention has measurable effects. 2, small groups amplify intention. 3, the miracle effect, in essence, what we give freely returns to us. 4, that connection reduces separation. 5, the power of altruism. 6, that attention shapes experience. 7, that community is healing. And 8, that regular practice deepens results. So you can register at the hub or online, and I'll be around in the courtyard to answer any questions you might have after service. So thank you. Hope you'll join me in doing good work and making a positive difference in the world.
Thank you, Reverend Christine. Sounds like a wonderful class. Daniel Thomas, our board pres, could you come on down? Yeah. Thank you. We now have a wonderful opportunity because we have 5 new members who are going to be joining SLC. So I now feel like the host of Let's Make a Deal. Joseph Coville, will you come on down? Retta Coolin, come on down. Angela Amadero, would you please come down? Kevin Taylor, come on down. And John Armstrong, come on down. Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. So we have several gifts for our new members, and I'm really excited to be up here to see our community, our family growing. I mean, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, 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 yes. So I have these sunflowers that Claudia may assist me with, if you'd be willing to hand these out. And it's a tradition that Janae started a while ago. And sunflowers are symbolic of divine light, higher consciousness, spiritual awakening, and enlightenment due to their constant orientation toward the light. May these sunflowers bring you joy. And I believe, Rick, also we have some other gifts for our newcomers. Kevin, you're first. We have a card for Kevin. Angela. I'm not used to a microphone. We have Rita and Joseph. Dan on the end. I had a hard time finding Joseph today because he didn't wear his hat. And John. I just want to really welcome you guys to our family. It's just so, it's emotional for me to have you guys up here and to welcome you as part of our family. So thank you so much.
And we have one more thing. We want to give you a copy of Reverend Ellen Davenport's wonderful book, The Five Principles of Unity. If we could take one and pass it down. There we go. Here we go.
And we're going to give them a blessing.
Oh, we are definitely. They're not going to get away without a blessing. So let's give that wonderful blessing of SLC. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold God's love as you. And we truly do. Thank you. We thank you, he says. Yep, what do we pass it down?
To connect and to share our love and share peace on earth. I think it's so important, and I think it's such a blessing. So thank you.
Thank you. There we go. Here we go. Remember.
That was smooth. Remember?
This is coming from the woman who, if I wanted to clear the Strait of Hormuz, I put Patty in charge. Strait of Hormuz would be cleared in 3 minutes.
There's many things that foster transformation in our lives. Prayer is a great opportunity for transformation, and our prayer chaplains are available to pray with you in the courtyard. And they also have a sign-up sheet. If you'd like to receive a monthly call from one of them, please sign up because they're just a wonderful blessing. And everything that's happening at SLC is seen on the wall out here in the lobby or across the way in the office side. Everything is on our website, or you can come to the hub to sign up for something or ask questions about future events.
And there's so many reasons why we come to SLC, but one of them is for connection. Let's share that connection with each other right now.
Awesome. There's more of that coming. We invite you to take all that good energy and please stand and join us in singing Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Please join us in singing. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bible says that King David danced so vigorously in front of the ark of the Lord that his clothes fell off.
Oh my.
Do we really want to see that here? I don't know.
Wow. I say we take all that laughter into our meditation. What do you say?
Yes, let us settle into our chairs. Take all that joy and laughter right straight into your heart. Let's take a nice deep breath together. And let's prepare for meditation first by speaking our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. We invite you to sing this beautiful chant with us. Together. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul.
As we move into this time of meditation, allow the loving vibration of that beautiful chant move into the depths of your soul. Breathe gently in, breathe gently out. Begin to feel your breath moving that divine loving presence in you, through you, and all around you. Allow your breath to carry you deeper and deeper into the core of your being, returning to your divinity, returning to the land of your beautiful, sweet, sweet soul. Allow that deep, deep love rise like steam dancing, floating effortlessly up from a glassy lake in the early, early morning. Divine love flows from the heavens as sunbeams to your soul. Divine love lands gently in your heart like white, fluffy feathers floating down to rest on the surface of a glassy lake. Breathe in the sweet and pungent scents of the trees, shrubs, and flowers of the forest surrounding the lake. You are strong and majestic as the towering pine and fir trees. You are deeply rooted to Mother Earth. You can bend and sway in the breeze. Hear your calling as the early morning birds sing their songs. You are wise, you are kind. You can feel your calling in your heart of hearts. You can feel your connectedness to the earth, to every person on earth, to the universe and beyond. You can feel divine love caressing you, holding you, encouraging you. You can feel divine love filling you with peace, joy, and love. Sit and soak in the divine love as you feel your connectedness, as you hear and feel your calling in the silence. You make a difference in this world. Each of us has been called to be peace. We've been called to be love. We've been called to be kind. We've been called to be joy-filled. We've been called to be wise. We are one. We are light. We are love. We are power. We are present. We are divine. I would like to share with you something written by Faith Moran, one of the co-founders of Spiritual Life Center. Faith says, "This is my wish for you. Comfort on difficult days. Smiles when sadness intrudes. Rainbows to follow the clouds. Laughter to kiss your lips. Sunsets to warm your heart. Hugs when your spirits sag. Beauty for your eyes to see. Friendships to brighten your being. Faith so that you can believe. Confidence when you doubt. Courage to know yourself. Patience to accept the truth. And love to complete your life. and always remember, you are loved beyond measure. Peace and blessings.
Can you hear the one who is calling, who has called you through the ages, the one who is love? There is no beginning. This love has no ending. It's in each and every moment. If we open our hearts, Shema Yisrael, Adonai
The holiest prayer in all of Judaism, the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Coming from the 6th chapter in Deuteronomy, when Jesus was asked, what's the most important commandment? Jesus went to Deuteronomy 6. And then he also said, like it is in a quoted Leviticus 19:18, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And then the questioner turned to him and said, well, yeah, but who's my neighbor? And it was at that point that Jesus gave the parable of the Good Samaritan, a very expansive definition of who is our neighbor. My God, we are so, usually the music ministry is beyond sight, but tonight or today, thank you. And thank you, Janet, for such a wonderful meditation. So let me be your tour guide on this magical mystery tour of unity and world religions. We're going to start with in the West and in the Middle East with the Abrahamic faith coming from Father Abraham. And then we will go and be drawn by that spiritual star of Asia and look at the mystical portions of in Asia. Then we're going to hop the international date line, come back to North America. We'll look at North American, Native American spirituality and some very interesting things that are happening in North America right now. Of the three, major Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, combined they represent a wide swath of humanity. Roughly around 55% of all people fall under these Abrahamic faiths. Judaism is a very small part of that, under 1%, and yet it is amazing how many Nobel Prizes, how many contributions in science, in the arts, in business, in literature, came from Judaism. And for example, when was the last time you contemplated how much of our Christmas music was written by Jews? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, Irving Berlin, and I could go on and on and on. Let me do this, however, with all cards faced up. I was adopted, as I've shared here before, I was adopted when I was 6 months old by a Jewish family. Very proud of my Jewish roots, and I look at this oneness symbol, and I see, the Star of David, sort of like one of the foundation stones upon which this is all built. Now, Judaism is by far and away, one of the oldest faiths from ancient days, which is still practiced by, a fairly significant swath of the population now. 4,000 years. How do you get 4,000 years into a 20-minute sermon? Well, my New York solution would be to speak very fast. But I think a better solution is to center on just a few people in Judaism. I'm going to center on two characters, Abraham and also on Moses. And in both cases, were they actual people, historical people, who somehow resolved into urban legends and then finally became Jungian archetypes or whatever? Or were they always just Jungian archetypes? There was no, and it's interesting, scholars are on both sides of this, that no, there never really was any historical Abraham or Moses. There was, but it's, obviously urban legend and going on to Jungian type of archetype. Whichever side you fall on, these stories, I think, are incredibly important on a metaphysical and powerful on a metaphysical level. So if you go to Abraham, and Abraham, if there was a historical character, probably lived, 22 centuries into the BC era. So we're talking really ancient. Abraham was born and raised in the city of Ur on the Euphrates River, right near, in those days, what was the Persian, right near the Persian Gulf. It was, as it were, really the New York of its day, or the London of its day, or the Tokyo or the Shanghai of its day. And Abraham felt driven by a divine voice saying, get out of Ur. You and your family out of Ur, start migrating west into the land of Canaan. And this land for you will be the promised land. It will be the land of milk and honey. I think Charles Fillmore and the early New Thought folks really put it, I think, something for us very much so in about the promised land. They suggested that we not see it as physical architecture or real estate, that we see it as a state of consciousness where we are truly aligned with divine mind. And that flow of divine opportunities, that divine possibilities of what we're studying with Ken Daigle, unapologetic manifestation, is really, as it were, flowing. And so Abraham does this. There are many, many lessons, but one of the ones which I really take away is that, again, in Judaism, the concept of contract or covenant is very, very important. And that feeling that God had a covenant with Abraham and with the Jewish people. And what was this and what made it important? But first, it's interesting, in unity, first there's Myrtle Fillmore and her healing and her spiritual transformation. Charles eventually sees it, and then he says, I'm going to find out whether there's anything to this. And he finds out that there is a beyond that is within. He's blown away by it. Myrtle and Charles get together, and what do? They write a compact. They write a covenant. And if you go to Unity Village, you can see what they signed, and beautiful, beautiful compact of trying to teach these principles and to spread these principles. So what was this about in terms of Abraham, and why should we even be concerned about it today? It's in the 12th chapter of Genesis where God says he's doing this so Abraham can act as a conduit of divine blessing for the entire world. This is supposedly God flowing through, and it will result in a blessing for the entire world. And God says to Abram, boy, oh boy, your descendants will be more numerous than the sands on the beach, or more numerous than the stars in the sky. And yet here's Abraham, he's in his 30s, he's in his 40s, he's in his 50s, no kids. Woo! No kid. When is this going to happen? And Abraham remains faithful even though this promise has not materialized. And so eventually Sarah starts thinking, his wife starts thinking, well, maybe the reason is because of me. Maybe I'm barren. And so she goes to her husband, Abraham, and says, here's the solution. Why don't you, here's my handmaiden, my servant, Hagar. She's lovely and all that. Why don't you have children? Why don't you have a son with her? And then the line will go on. And so they do that, and what is born is Ishmael. And when we get to Islam, Hagar and Ishmael are going to really, as it were, loom large in the legend, as it were. But it's interesting. Sarah looks and says, oh my God, what have I done? This has raised so many problems. I think it reminds me that I don't know about you, but so many of my long-run problems started out as my brilliant short-run solutions. So anyway, they're aged, and it looks like, where's God's promise? I mean, there's no kids or anything, stars in the sky, sand on the beach. They start entertaining three. Are they angels? Are they just strangers? Who are these people? And they say, this promise is going to come true, and it's going to come true very quickly. Maybe 9-10 months from now, it's going to come true. Sarah hears this, and I'm an old lady, and she starts laughing at this. And again, the child is born. It's Isaac. And in Hebrew, Isaac comes from the verb to laugh. And so Abraham, a lot of times, I think, if you look, shows that faithfulness and holding to that challenge, even though it took a promise a long time to come through. Nora Ephron, that great screenwriter, one of her movies, and I think she's so right about contemporary society. She writes, has one of the people talk about when instant gratification is not quick enough, and that sense of waiting on God's promise, even though it doesn't come in our time period. So, and if I had time, I'd throw in a third person, obviously Joseph in the coat of many colors, winding up sold into slavery. He's down in Egypt, but through dream interpretation winds up the chancellor, number 2 in all of Egypt. There's a famine, there's no food, and so the brothers, come south to Egypt. They go into the crown room or whatever it was, the situation room, and they look and they see their little brother who they sold into slavery is now the chancellor. Oh, Gewalt, our goose is cooked. But Joseph says to them, I forgave you a long time ago. What you did for evil, God used for good. And I think St. Paul put it so well in the letter to the Romans. All things work together for good for those who know and love God. And I have seen that in my life and so many other people's lives. The Israelites want to come down and live in Egypt. Joseph goes to Pharaoh and says, would it be okay if my mishpucha, my family, comes and lives in, and Pharaoh says, oh, yeah. Have them live in Goshen. It's a wonderful community, has great schools, pickleball courts. The Wi-Fi is even good there. So they come down to Goshen, and again, they do very well. I mean, business, science, everything else, they're doing very well. The Bible puts it so well. There came a Pharaoh who knew not Joseph. Boy, oh boy, these Jews are getting too powerful. We're going to have to do something about it. They put them into slavery, and then Pharaoh comes up with the idea we're going to kill, particularly the males that are being born. We're going to start killing them. Moses, his mother, puts him in a basket and floats him down the river. Miriam, his older sister, follows to see what's happening. And then this woman comes down to the Nile and draws Moses out. And Moses really means drawn out, and sees that this woman is the princess to Pharaoh, Pharaoh's daughter. Moses is brought in to be raised by, in the Pharaoh's family. But nobody, where are we going to get breast milk? And, there was no Bristol-Myers Squibb in those days. So, I mean, where are we going to get breast milk? Miriam says, do I have the midwife for you? And so in they go and are able to teach Moses that he's really a Jew. And Moses retains this. One day, he's now a grown man, and he looks like he could do very well in the royal family. He sees a slave master beating up on a Jewish slave Moses says, stop that. And the slave master said, who the hell are you to tell me to stop doing? They get into a fight, and the next thing you know, Moses kills the slave master. Whoa. And then, to quote those great spiritual teachers, Eric Burden and the Animals, we have to get out of this place if it's the last thing we ever do. He leaves and goes into the desert to escape, punishment and all that for murder. He sees the bush, which is burning and is not consumed, goes over to it, starts talking, and says, and the bush says, I am the divine voice. You are my man. You're to go back. You're to lead the Israelites out of Egypt and to have them be freed. Moses said, you got to be kidding me. I can't speak. God said, don't worry about that. Your brother Aaron will do the talking. You just tell him what to say, and I'll tell you what to say. Well, who should I say when they ask me, who sent me? Who should I say? And God responds, tell them I am who I am. Tell them I am. In other words, God's name as a play on the verb to be. Moses goes back, after the plagues and all that, leads the Israelites out. There's the Red Sea crossing. And then eventually they wind up at Mount Sinai, where they are given the Ten Commandments and more than that. Rabbis now look at the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, and a good way of remembering that was what was taught to me is God's eternal light never dies. God's eternal light never dies. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. In there, the rabbis find 613 commandments, and off they go. Then eventually with Joshua conquering the promised land and David eventually, King David, capturing Jerusalem, setting up the first temple. And it's interesting, back in that Deuteronomy 6, God says, you know what? You're going to come into the promised land, and it's going to be a land of milk and honey. And when you're flowing with milk and honey, there's a good chance you're going to forget me. And you're going to forget what these and you're going to forget that the reason I'm doing this is you're supposed to be a blessing to the world. You're supposed to be a blessing to the world. And their behavior starts changing. Up come the prophets to really talk truth to power, and to remind what this whole proposition was all about. There's the exile, the Babylonian captivity, they come back, the building of the second temple, the taken over by the Romans. Now we come to the time of Jesus, and many modern scholars believe that Jesus' primary goal was not to set up another religion, but to revitalize Judaism, and take it to, as it were, the next level. Then comes the Jewish, we're now at around the year 70 AD. There's the Jewish revolt against Rome. Fighting against Rome was not an advisable thing to do at that period. They are getting crushed. Jerusalem is surrounded. It looks like the Romans are about to scale the walls. The temple's going to be destroyed. You can forget the priesthood and the temple and all that. There's a very wise sage inside of Jerusalem at that time called Yohan ben Zakkai. And he realized the destruction of the temple, it's lost. This is a lost proposition. He tells his disciples, get me a coffin, put me in it, cover it up, make some air holes though, and tell everybody I'm dead, and then you guys better get good at wailing. And so they do that, and there's such wailing and gnashing of teeth. They carry the coffin out, and to the Romans, they say, Yohan ben Zakkai is dead. Can we go out and bury him? And they said, yes, you can. So they take him out. Once nobody's looking, the cover to the coffin comes open. Yohan ben Zakkai comes out of the coffin, and he goes to Yavna. Yavna is the Roman headquarters. This is where Vespasian is, who is the general leading this army. And it's Yavna is near the seacoast. It's south of modern Tel Aviv. And so anyway, there's Yohan ben Zakkai, and Vespasian, the great commander, is coming down. And Yohan ben Zakkai says, Hail to thee, Emperor Vespasian. Vespasian is taken aback, says, I'm not the emperor. And then Ben Zakkai says, oh, yes, you are. The Senate, the Roman Senate has made you the emperor. You'll hear about it in a few days. Congratulations. Well, in a few days, guess what happens? The messengers come in and tell Vespasian he's now the emperor of all Rome. Vespasian says, get that Ben Zakkai, I want to see him. And so he comes in and he says, it's obvious divine flow is coming through you. What can I do for you? And Ben Zakkai says, I'd like to set up a yeshiva. I'd like to set up a yeshiva, a teaching academy where, we could teach Jewish law and all that. No, believe me, no revolt or anything. And Vespasian says, okay, done. Where do you want this academy? Now, Ben Zakkai had street smarts. In Yiddish, it's called seikel. He had street smarts. He says, I'd like the academy set up in Yavna. Yavna, why would you want it set up next to me? And Ben Zakkai says, so you can see there's no monkey business going on. We're not interested in any revolt against Rome. Guy has brains. They set up that academy in Yavna, and from Ben Zakkai's academy comes rabbinical Judaism. Becomes the first ordination of rabbis and then spreading. No more temple, no more sacrifices, but this rabbinical Judaism, which is the Judaism that we see today, which we see today. Quite frankly, just like the saying is, if it wasn't for St. Paul, probably there would not have been, Christianity wouldn't have taken hold. If it were not for Ben Zakkai and that Yavna Academy, the same thing would be true. But now comes the destruction in Jerusalem, the diaspora, they're dispersed, and diaspora oftentimes is not a pretty picture. It can be the Spanish Inquisition. It can be in our modern times, the Holocaust and the killing of the 6 million. There, I think, are some takeaways from all of this, which I think are very important. The first thing in Jewish, and it's not only just in religious, it's also in secular culture around Judaism, is that the importance of education, the central importance of education, the study. Torah literally means to teach. Talmud really means to learn. The importance of education, I think, has played such an essential role in the results that we have seen in terms of Judaism. The second is God. A lot of times in Judaism, you see this real dance between head knowledge and heart knowledge. And we're going to see this in other faiths too. You'll see the pendulum sometimes really swing in the way of head knowledge. God is principle, God is law. In unity, there are certain, I call them the prayer Nazis. I mean, the prayer has to be a certain way, and it's what you're really praying is in terms of principle, et cetera, et cetera. And it becomes a very, very heady process. What usually happened in Judaism, there would be a swing of the pendulum. In sometimes it took the form of Jewish mysticism, the Kabbalah, and incredible studies on mysticism. Also, the Hasidic movement, where dancing, making halal bread, and cooking, it can be it's one of the reasons so much of Judaism is at the home, is celebrated in the home, not in the synagogue. It's that heartfelt knowledge, and that there is a very interesting tension between head knowledge and heart knowledge. And quite frankly, I see the same dance between head knowledge and heart knowledge going on in terms of unity to this day. The last, which I think is so important, is a concept called tikkun olam, which means restoration of the world. Social justice is so incredibly important to all the branches of Judaism. There's in a view of, it's almost like the Big Bang, that particularly in Jewish mysticism, that in the beginning there was this incredible ball of spiritual light which burst forth and broke. And that a lot of parts of the world lost these. In the original day, everybody had that, everything had that divine spark in it. But now that's not the case under Tikkun Olam. And that the goal of one of the prime goals that we're here is to restore those divine sparks in places where it doesn't seem to be now, to restore. And these, in terms of social justice, in terms of what the prophets many years ago talked about, is so incredibly important. If I could stick my 2 cents in, yes, very proud of my Jewish roots, but some of you might say, how come you're not at a synagogue then? Well, it struck me that Judaism, for all its beauty, was not truly a universal religion. It was more a tribal religion about a specific tribe. And that some of the reason of going back to that 12th chapter in Genesis about being a blessing throughout all humanity could sometimes get lost. It was driven to me in several ways. Let me give one of the gentler ways. I was on Fifth Avenue in New York with a Gentile friend, and there was a Hasidic group which had what was called a mitzvah wagon. A mitzvah is doing one of God's commandments. And they asked us, come on into the mitzvah wagon for prayer. Are you Jewish? I said, yes, I am. Your friend? No, he's Gentile. He can't come in. And so I supposedly could have come in, but he couldn't. And it just, I could be glad to share in the courtyard some other circumstances where this happened. It really struck me that for all the beauty and everything, it had not progressed to a universal religion, and I truly wanted to be in part of a universal faith. At that point, I started reading Jesus and the Gospels. I started looking at Jesus as my rabbi. And it made so much sense to me. For example, instead of all the kosher laws where Jesus said, what truly defiles a person is not what they put in their mouth, but what comes out of their mouth. I mean, it so resonated with me. The problem was, I found a lot of, quote, Christian communities, and between the gay bashing and it seemed like views from the 16th century or whatever, and I just did not feel comfortable until, and I even tried, Unitarianism. It was, again, seemed to me way too heady and all that, until a good friend led me to a unity service. And I came in and I honestly felt like I was coming home, that I honestly was coming home, and that a lot of these things that Judaism stands for was there, but it was universalized. And seeing these values, not just in Western religions, but seeing these wonderful spiritual truths from the East, from Native America. I mean, Myrtle Fillmore said, when they were living in the Wild West, Myrtle said she felt that many Native Americans were far closer to the Godhead than many of her so-called Christian friends back east. And so what I would also advocate through this series is that we use this treasure trove. Since we are interfaith, we have a treasure trove. We are so wealthy. We have a treasure trove to go back to study from, to learn from. For example, let me give an example. You're going through issues of grieving. How should we deal with grieving? Judaism has a lot of views about how to deal with grieving. To go back to that treasure trove. We're going through right now in Unity, some people about tithing, no, it's generosity, no, it's giving. Judaism has a long tradition on that, which would be really wonderful to tap into. And the neat thing is that technology is really moving us in the direction of making that so much easier. And I want to throw, again, a point that Reverend Phil Pearson made, and I think is so true. When we engage with these faiths, when we do this and take interfaith seriously, the voice of God, the voice of Spirit, becomes louder for us. It becomes louder for us, and we feel a stronger connection to that. I truly agree with that. Now, how do you do it? I'm going to throw on the table artificial intelligence. Yes, I'm going to throw artificial intelligence. A while ago, I was at Oxford University. Their Bodleian Library is an incredible place. They had an exhibit on the impact of movable type, of the Gutenberg Revolution, and it was fascinating. The movable type did incredibly wonderful things. It lowered the price of books were astronomically expensive. Movable type lowered it so people could afford it, and education and reading literacy increased. You could spread knowledge a lot easier. These were all benefits, but it also came at a cost. It was so much easier to spread gossip, to spread lies, to spread hatred. And you saw 100-year wars based on, because of what movable type could do. So I would say we are not the first generation. We are not the first generation to face a new technology which has benefits but also has costs. And what I would say is our goal is to try to maximize the benefits and reduce the costs. One of the ways which I believe you can do this, truly, is does your artificial intelligence program come with footnotes? Is it footnoting what it's feeding you? If it is, I would say go with that kind of a program because you can check it out, because these programs do hallucinate sometimes. No, seriously, they do. And human beings are not the only one that doesn't want to say, I don't know. I mean, these things can fabricate too. And so go use artificial intelligence. Use it to unlock what about, for example, I can't silence monkey mind. I can't silence monkey mind. I try, but I can't. Our Buddhist friends have so much wisdom how to silence monkey mind. Go to AI, see what our Buddhist friends are saying about how to do it. And it doesn't mean you have to accept what they're saying hook, line, and sinker. But Myrtle Fillmore one time they charged her, somebody said, you're eclectic. And she said, you know what? I am eclectic, and I defend my right to be eclectic. And if some other discipline has something which can spiritually help me, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. And I think we should be the same way. Let me close by two quotes. One is from the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov, the master of the good name, was one of the leaders of the Hasidic movement, this heart movement. The Baal Shem Tov says, where your focus lies, there you will find yourself. May you recognize the blessings in each moment, and through joy bid farewell to all affliction. And then one of my favorite prophets is the prophet Micah, where the prophet Micah says, you have been told, O people, what is good and what the Lord requires from you, to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. And then Micah also says, and it's such a beautiful vision, and everyone will sit under their own vine tree and under their own fig tree, and no one will make them afraid. No one will make them afraid. This afternoon we are going to be going to, many of us are going to be going to that conservative synagogue. I don't care whether it's a ultra-Orthodox or ultra-Reform synagogue. You will find the same thing in all synagogues. There is an ark, which Rabbi Herman's going to show us this afternoon. You open the ark, out comes the Torah scrolls. And above the ark, however, is what's called the Ner Tamid in Hebrew. It's the eternal light, the eternal light. God said to Moses, make sure you have an eternal light always on above your tent of meeting. And I would say one of the things which we at New Thought have emphasized so strongly is that eternal light is inside of all of us. That eternal light is inside of all of us. As John Denver put it so well, it's in every one of us to be wise. And when we are flowing with this, we are truly in the promised land, despite whatever outward circumstances are doing. Thank you, and God bless. Namaste. Namaste.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Rick. Sorry. Things just keep getting smooth today. Next week, we continue our Unity and World Religion series, and it'll be about Christianity, and Rev Rip will be back for that talk, and the music will be by Ann Roach and Soul Light Connection. Now I'd like to address our newcomers. We're so glad you're here. If you're watching us online, you can go to slcworld.org and click on the Connect button and fill out the welcome card. This will let us know that you're watching, and we can also then keep you up on all the happenings that are going on here at SLC. For those of you in person today, in a moment we'll ask you to raise your hand. We'll give you a welcome card, and you can fill it out and take it out to the courtyard to the welcome table. And we'll also give you a chalet, which we would love for you to wear, because then we could recognize you individually as somebody that's new here, and we can greet you. So if you're here for the first time, would you please raise your hand? We have someone down here. Wonderful. Welcome. Welcome to Spiritual Life Center. And now it's the portion of our service where we'll talk about a love offering. You have an opportunity to help support Spiritual Life Center. You can text SLC Love to 44321, or you can use the QR code, which takes you to the donate button on our website, or you can go directly to our website and click the donate button. And we also still accept checks. If those of you out there, you can mail in your checks if you'd like to do that. And if you're online and want to spread this consciousness, you can click like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever button is on the platform that you happen to be using. And then in a moment, we'll say our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Here, my friends, I stand before you, naked, stripped of all pretense. I'm here to say a word or two in the name of love and innocence. It's been a long time, they've been out of style, but I won't live in illusion. There's not much chance that things will change. Lonely planet Earth. All that is natural, all that is free, like me loving you and you loving me, like sweet fruit growing on a tree, and the blood-red coral in the sea, like shaking hands and sharing food, and a real creative attitude, and a big strong hug, well that feels good, and the miracle of birth. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. You really don't need a diploma from any university to understand and to enjoy this plentiful diversity. You only need to free your mind from all those preconceptions and use your mouth for laughing and for asking and to kiss. Communicate, communicate. Don't say, oh Lord, I've come too late. You're always welcome at love's gate to wash your feet of fear and hate. So when you come and when you go, the words are peace, goodbye, hello, in a language that I know, and it goes like this. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Shalom, 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 shalom.
shalom, 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 shalom. Are you ready? It's your turn to sing. Let me hear you.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Dear Spirit, thank you for all the prayers in our prayer box and prayers on people's hearts. Help them to know that overcoming power of Spirit, that greater is us in us that is in the world. Thank you for all the investments that are made into this ministry in terms of time, treasure, and talent. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen. Now, we're going to say the prayer for protection. Then we'll sing the peace song. Then, oh my goodness, if you don't know what Klezmer music is, it's Jewish soul music. They are going to be playing it. You might want to stick around and hear it. And then afterwards, come join us in the courtyard. We're going to be celebrating Lynn Orion's 90th birthday. Woo! And so, let's say that prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now the peace song.